For those of you who might know what this is that I'm wearing, you probably already know what my speech is about. For those of you who don't know what this is called a ghillie suit. Some of you may be interested in knowing how to build one because it's very common to use one in airsoft, paintball, or even hunting. Now, since I've built this one, I think I would be a good source on learning how to. Today I'm going to tell you what a ghillie suit is, why you should build your own over buying one, and how to build one, obviously. The ghillie suit is a versatile form of 3D camo. Though many people think it's a modern day version of camouflage, it's really not. It was developed by a type of game warden in Scotland called a ghillie in the late 18th century. It was first seen use in military combat in World War I and World War II by Scotland reconnaissance groups. It would be then used by other nations following World War II. Also, the ghillie suit is a unique form of camouflage which allows its user to hide using very simple solutions, I guess. One of these would be the netting, which allows the user to incorporate the environment, taking leaves, tall grass, and branches. Then the next would be the burlap. The human body is probably one of the most recognizable shapes in all of nature. But because of the burlap and how it just kind of lays wildly and kind of just all crazy, it hides the human body very well. Also with the burlap, you can dye it to a specific color to fit a specific purpose. So if I'm in an area where I have lots of green and very little brown or black, I can change my suit so that it matches the area. Now, let's look into why you should make your own over buying a pre-made one. Pre-made ghillie suits often have very generalized colors on the camouflage, which they still work, but like I said before, a specific color to match a specific area works a lot better. Also, some suits are sold without nets. This takes away half the ghillie suit's potential. You can't even use your environment then. Now, it's kind of equal to the price. I mean, not that much of a difference from building your own and going out and buying one. And then also you have the fact that it's used for many reasons. Like I said before, paintball, airsoft, hunting, anything that you would use camouflage in, you can use a ghillie suit in. Then you also have the fact that if you go out to an event, let's say you're on an airsoft team, you make your own ghillie suit and you go out to an event. Somebody asks you where you got it. You get to say you made your own. Get a little bit of pride with it. So now let's look at how you build your ghillie suit. You're going to need several things. First thing is obviously a camo uniform and a camouflage hat, particularly a boonie hat. You're going to need 2 large tubes of shoe goo, about 10 yards worth of burlap, decorative fishnet, which is supposed to be 3 foot by 12 foot, and a sheet of it, and then also camo sniper mesh. You don't need much more than a yard for this. And then the appropriate dyes to match your area of operation, scissors, a knife, and lots and lots of time, because it's a very lengthy process. Now, if you do nothing but work on it straight for 2 days, you can knock it out in 2 days, but it can take several weeks if you just do a little bit at a time. So let's move on to the process. First, you want to cut a hole in the back of the jacket about the size of a rectangle, like this. Is that good for y'all? All right. And then next, you're going to need to take the sniper mesh and cut it to fit the hole and use the shoe goo to glue it down. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm moving it a little bit closer. Down. All right. Next, you're going to want to take your netting and cut it into the shape of your jacket, just like that, and then glue that down. Do the same with your pants. And then while the adhesive's drying, you're going to go ahead and move on to stripping your burlap. And then after you finish stripping all the burlap, which this is a very time-consuming process, then you're going to go ahead and dye it the appropriate colors. This is about half of what I used. Okay, so then while your burlap is drying from the dye bath, you're going to go ahead and move onto your hat. You want to cut out a large circle, but you're going to kind of mess with it a little bit, and then you're going to trim it down to leave the back of it a lot wider than the front. And then you're going to glue it down on the top of the hat. And then after this, all you got left is tying the burlap onto the netting. You're going to want to take about 4 to 5 fibers to make a strand, and just start from the bottom and work your way up. You can space it so that you have about 4 to 5 inches in between each row. So there's when I first kind of started. A little bit more progress, working on the pants. Yeah, working on the hat. So yeah, now that we've kind of talked about how you build it, you now have your own custom-made ghillie suit. So let's review on what we discussed. We discussed what the ghillie suit was, why you should build your own, and how you build it. And so, if you have any more questions though about how to build yours, I would recommend going onto YouTube and looking up Level Cap Gaming, how to build a ghillie suit. This is where I learned how to build mine. Now, in case some of you don't believe me that these work, what would you say if I told you somebody's been watching this entire time?
Whoa!